speaking of connecting with the sky and looking at the sky, I've been having so much fun. I totally forgot to
Is it
like,
time?
yeah, to do like a quick overview here of this coming week. Now technically, hold on, let me share my screen. Um, share the screen. Okay, so
And this could be fun because you and Krasi could both give your interpretations of what we're seeing.
well,
Ah, wonderful.
I feel bad because she just like did a whole big like a she works hard. I'm over
Like,
here like, "Oh my God." She's like a
she does work
powerhouse.
hard.
Both of you
Yeah.
too, you
I,
too, you too.
I'm doing like again, like I just point at the sky and be like, this is what this is doing. So right now, so this is for today. Let me verify this, you guys. 2024 10:02. Technically, this would be our new moon forecast. Now, Krasi, I don't know how you do if you do a new moon forecast, a monthly forecast. As you know, technically Mesopotamia, the start of the month is going to be the night of the first crescent, right after the sun goes down, which is usually a day or two after the actual new moon. I just, like to do the new moon because it does not based on whether or not anybody sees it. It's just like a timing thing. Let me see here. Hold on. Where's the actual time? Where's our moon? Krasi, do you use stellarium?
No.
Okay. You use
I use it actually. When I'm
Placidus
searching for a
most.
star on the sky, I point and I use it.
Yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, it's awesome.
It's
Um,
awesome.
Absolutely. So I'll just give my quick take on this. I'm not going to spend too much time because we're all here
Please
to
do.
no,
Please do.
we're here to listen to you today, Krasi. You're here to
To both
take
of you too.
all of the work off of my shoulders. But basically, we have a new moon in Virgo every year, so it's not a life-changing situation. It is interesting though. At this time, we also have Venus here. I would call this Libra. I think anything south of or east, technically, of Spica, is more in the claws of the Scorpion area. Now, I find this to be much more of a. It is social, not necessarily because of the normal things people hear about, but in Babylon in particular, as you probably know, these were the claws of the scorpion. These were most of the omens were related to like the marketplace prices of, seed oils and whatever. The scales themselves were used for financial transactions. Now, at the same time, the way I like to describe this is back if we were talking 100 years ago, your marketplace was like the central part of your village or your town, and it still is in many places. That's where we go and meet our neighbors. I live in a very big city, but like I go out to the store every single day at the same little markets and everything, and like you interact with people. So there is definitely still a social element here. But Venus in Libra, I do think that this emphasizes some of that more, like some of the more emotional or heart connection to some of our loved ones, and our people in our community and tribe. I really think that this can foster, especially this month with everything going on over here. I do think this can foster some more positive, beneficial relationships. At the same time, we have a conjunction with Mercury and the Sun and the Moon. In my experience, when the Sun is close to Mercury, it tends to soften Mercury's very cognitive energy that it can kind of go wild. I think that this gives us much more softness in our body, maybe allowing us to be a little bit more intuitive. I look at Virgo as the furrow in the frond, and essentially aspects of Ninhursag, if we're gonna go all the way back prior to the Babylonian period when the furrow in the frond would have been the consort of Marduk. But this is much more like Mother Earth energy. I see her as being very soft. Now, if you are um, an accountant or you work with numbers and stuff, I do think this probably can benefit you too with Mercury here. But Mercury obviously is relatively close to the sun. I do think this is a very intuitive placement. I think whatever's going on outside in the world, this still allows for people to be a little bit more introspective than we might otherwise be and really kind of just feel what's going on with the people around us. And that's probably necessary considering how close the world is to, you know, a global cataclysm. Speaking of, even though we can't see this comet, we do have this comet swinging by. It is very, very interesting. We talked about this back in the spring when we were recording the ancient astrology course. We were talking about it with Pat. It'd be cool if we could see it. Obviously, we can't because it's right outside at the time. Let me see. Yeah, well, it's a different time. We wouldn't be able to see it there anyways. But it'll be interesting if this has any sudden, you know, craziness come down. The closer this gets to the moon and the sun. Let me see here. How far is it? Do we have a specific date here that we're working with? Looks like. Yeah, fortunately, I think that's going to break up, but the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, I think with this conjunction with Spica, with this here. Now, I don't get on the bandwagon of like, oh, the world is coming to an end, the financial markets are going to collapse. I don't really get into any of that. But if I had to, you know, look at something in the sky that say maybe there's like a big event that comes during that period, I would say that's probably a good one to look at between. So this would just be what we said, the 8th to the 12th. Now we wouldn't be able to see this this comet without this program. So I don't know if that factors in. I'm just being honest with anybody watching this or you guys. Like I don't know. It's more, you know, from like a scientific standpoint, like kind of check it out. And then obviously over, what is this week? Hold on. We got the October 2nd to like kind of the 9th. It's already back here. Yeah, so I would say that's mostly this resonant energy is probably something that we're going to be seeing. Saturn still floating back and forth here between Aquarius and Pisces, and then Mars, Jupiter, who I saw last night. Oh, is so beautiful. You guys go outside, not you, Krasi and Fryer. I know you guys don't need to hear this, but if you're watching this video, please go outside and look up at the sky and like see how beautiful these things are. Like this is your heritage. Like this connects you to your ancestors. It's so powerful. So please consider doing that sometime. I do think this is a very creative placement with Jupiter here in the Hyades, still in Taurus. Mars, I think, is more on his sensitive side here in Gemini, which is probably an okay placement for him. But generally, the month, other than this weird period here, which is interesting, I can't make a prediction on it one way or another. I just think it's interesting. That's probably how I would call it. Krasi, what's your take on this?
Yes, today is the eclipse, Abby. We, you know, we have the eclipse right now taking place.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty checked out most of the time. I don't know what's going on half the time.
Yes, no, this eclipse doesn't really, well, it's part of two, you know. The first one was on the 18th of September, and now this cycle is closing with the eclipse now today of the second. I was thinking, oh, how funny that today we are making this talk, you know, during the eclipse. But, you know, I've been researching what happened 18 years ago with the same eclipses, the same axis afflicted by eclipses. And, you know, many interesting events. One of them, you will be surprised, another attack of Israel on Lebanon. I was surprised because same is happening now. Then you had, actually, the events were not very fortunate, the events which took place 18 years ago. Then another 18 years ago in 1988, well, this is eclipse on the axis of Pisces, Virgo. Pisces is so important because it is about the era. We're still in the era of Pisces. The point of the vernal equinox is still in Pisces. It's not in Aquarius yet, but because it is about to leave Pisces, we feel the energy of Aquarius, all these technologies and typical Aquarius events are taking place. But this, all these 4 or 5 eclipses of this year are very important. They are important for everyone because of Pisces, year of Pisces, major presence of Pisces. We see the water, the flooding. We see the all these people which you know, live in the Middle East, and you know, nothing surprising. Like the eclipses just enhance what we know about what is just happening. still the good is what? The good thing is that the first lunar crescent, the first visible crescent, exactly like you said, like the Sumerians would look at, like the Babylonians would appear with Venus in Libra. And then we have this major trine. This gives me hope that nothing is so bad, actually. And you know, this is Tishrit, month of Tishrit, which is the beginning of the autumn. On the 4th, we are starting the autumn. So we have 6 months ahead to look at. You know, next 6 months will be like determined by this major trine which we see on the sky. So I'm positive, of course. We know what is happening. We see it with the eclipses. I don't want to repeat to sound negative. I don't feel negative. But you see, in 2006, same things happened like now. Other misfortunate events, like there was big plane crash and 209 people died in India, you know, that sorts of events took place. But this is the balance. We chose to live in these interesting times, end of cycle, end of major cycle, you know, at the gate of the year of Pisces and Aquarius. This is big, 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 you know, the major mystery teachers are saying that we've been people which are coming to Earth now, which are born now. Also, we've been waiting on the queue to come and experience this particular time on Earth. So we cannot complain. We have no right.
I do feel like that a lot. Like this is definitely, it has to be the most unique time in human history. Like for better or worse, what an awesome time to be alive and see the change and shift. I used to think about that even when I was young. So like in the early 90s and stuff, I would think back to my grandparents who or like my great grandparents who were around before cars. Like, wow, what would that be like to, you know, go from seeing, you know, you got rid of your family horse and you got like a car. Like that would change everything. Same thing, airplanes. That's never been lost on me. But and I wouldn't have thought even in the early 90s, you wouldn't have think anything cool like that's ever gonna happen in my lifetime. But oh, did it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
the information age is a totally different animal than some stuff like that. It is a fascinating time to be alive. I'm personally
Yes.
really grateful. I had a lot of Ren Fair groupies, you know, like friends who they want to relive the medieval times without indoor plumbing and antibiotics and stuff. And it sounds really cool, like, you know, to do some cosplay and go drink mead and you know, stuff like that until like your power goes out and then you don't have running water, you can't flush your toilet, and like most places in the world can deal with that stuff. You know, they still have like one foot in both sides of, you know, like here in Russia, I don't know what it's like in Bulgaria, but a lot of people still have like outdoor toilets. Um, which I actually, that's a different conversation. I actually think that's a superior method, but that's a different conversation. Namely for survival purposes, because again, if you lose your well, you lose your electricity, you're kind of screwed. But I 100% like I look at the train going by outside my window. I'm like, yes, technology. I see smokestacks. I'm like, yes, that's gross. It smells bad. But you know, there's like progress. Like human beings are evolving and we're learning how to. I see that people are striking the balance. They're trying to strike the balance now with nature, and I think it's just a really long process. I heard somebody say once, and I really agree with this concept. I mean, I don't have any proof, obviously, but he said that human beings are designed to be technological hunter-gatherers. We weren't necessarily meant to be, you know, farmers and like eating grains. And clearly, we're not designed for that, but we are very technological. That's something that comes so naturally to us. That's why we're so embedded in it so very, very quickly. And I think if I really think we're at that point where there is this turning point in human society. We were talking about that on one of the meditation calls the other day. Actually, Double J, who was in the comments earlier, he was asking about trying to see these big shifts in civilization and going back to if we look at Pluto's transits, which are only 250-ish years, its return, to make it all the way around. That's probably the best way to see like some of these much bigger cycles. But there's definitely, not to say it's all an exact science and an atomic clock, but there's definitely cycles and they are written up in the sky. We're experiencing it right now.